Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Gagme here. I just played what I consider to be a perfect game, even though I died once in this game. And I wanted to discuss some of the things that I performed in this game that you might be able to bring to your own gameplay, whether it's bot lane or support. My support Bard played really well this game. We reversed Tristana and Janna, which is normally not a very intense combo, but for Viktor can be quite infuriating to play against because Tristana just directly counters the champion in all regards. At least in bot lane, that's how it feels. But these are the runes I took. We didn't really get to scale very much in this game, but this is my my lane setup into scaling. I don't find there to be. I took two. Well, Arcane Comet's not an early game rune, but I took Scorch as my early game rune, and then I took Cut Down as my late game rune because they had a Maokai and a Yorick on the enemy team, and I wanted to be able to just do a little bit extra damage. And I like Presence of Mind on Viktor because I tend to spam my abilities a lot, and I'm trash, and I don't know how to get around that. So, reason why I had to reason why my offensive rune or my scaling rune is Cut Down is because I wanted to opt into Presence of Mind because mana flow just isn't enough, and I wanted to go Doran's Ring this game. So, without further ado, let's just head right into the game. Show you the stats one more time. We had a Hecarim, Aatrox, Nasus, and then I was the sole AP, which is really nice for me. Azir was their sole AP, which I'm sure was really nice for him, considering he did the most damage, and they kind of camped him. But let's just get right into it now, for sure. Alright, so normal start. We're just chilling. Hecarim's identifying that he's just warding his top side, which is fine. They never invaded, because don't exactly have a good invade comp, because Maokai, I believe, would start E, and he did. So, we just push through that. We head to lane, give a good leash. Normal start for Viktor is to auto attack into Q, get the two melee minions with the Q. Tristana takes a pretty bad trade right there, and Bard plays that really well around the vision that he created. I get another poke in with the Scorch and the Arcane Comet, and Janna gets a nice Q, but I got her with the secondary proc. So, the reason why I wanted to opt for Doran's this game is because I'm trying a new early game idea, where at the moment I have 24 ability power, and my Q is probably my best ability in the early game. It makes me trade so well with so many ADCs, except for like Kai'Sa or Draven or something like that. It's pretty neutral or negative. But the scaling totals to 100% magic scaling, which means that I just add 24 extra damage to my Q. Now, since I split it between the Tristana and the Janna, it's going to be 40% extra onto the 40% of 24 onto the Tristana, and then 60% onto the Janna. But hitting your full Q just results in 24 extra damage being applied, plus the Scorch, plus the Arcane Comet. If you hit, it's probably about an extra 70 to 80 damage extra compared to if you just like took tank runes, I guess, if that makes any sense, which it doesn't. Tristana jumps in here, playing a little aggressive around the wave. I missed that minion because that minion was impossible. Grab that one. I get hit by a lot of tornadoes early, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't change anything. I was never getting that melee or that caster minion there. We get good poke in. Bard misses something. We're trading HP pots, which is good. Tristana and Janna are way lower than I am, which is like where I want to be. Tristana's an auto pusher, which doesn't help me, which is why I struggle to play this matchup. But I end up getting quite a bit of CS here. Like if I get all these CSs, I'll end up ahead of Tristana because she's she's auto pushing, so she's really trying really hard to end up getting ahead. Bard gets a nice double stun because they stacked up. As a Janna, if you're playing Janna, truth be told, you don't want to stand anywhere near your support. You never need to. You should always be standing at max E range. Not behind, but near, so in a lateral direction from your Tristana or your ADC or whatever it is. You should never stand on top of your Tristana. If you stand on top of your Tristana, you should position away from your wherever your ADC needs to go to wherever he feels he needs to go. You should position away from him. That's always the correct play. Because you just like your abilities are not meant to be like used in close proximity with other people. That's why Bard is pretty good into Braum, because Braum is meant to be close to other teammates. He has to use his abilities to be close to other teammates, which really counters him because you get a free double stun, which is just insane on Bard because the value is so good. But they keep auto-pushing. They have to auto-push here. I knock her back off the wave, make her miss one last CS. She misses that one, I'm pretty sure. Now I'm just prepping these minions, getting them ready. Bard to help me with that one. Really nice play by the Bard. I was not going to be able to get those CSs if not for the Bard. So that was a great CS prep by Bard. And we're ending up 2 CS ahead, and we're forcing their base early because Tristana got so low that we get to basically free shove the next wave because we pushed them off the wave on a non-cannon wave, which is insane. If it was a cannon wave, it wouldn't be that good because they could probably come back to lane and grab most of the CS that they lost. But because we pushed them off on a non-cannon wave, we get, first off, we get a free base because we just hard shove. Bard knows this, by the way. I think I pinged him one time, but he knew that. And then I just E auto base. Walked a little bit. Probably didn't need to. Could have just immediately based. Now, we didn't ping the Janna roam. The Janna ends up getting a kill in mid lane here. But we end up almost 9 CS up on the Tristana, which is just gigantic because this lane we should not be winning this hard. Granted, Bard and Viktor have great synergy together because we can combo their stun into my stun into like an ulti into like so much shit, and then his ulti can set up my W and then into his Q or his or my ulti and stuff like that. So we have great combo. Janna has decent combo with Tristana. Tristana would probably rather have a more aggressive support, but Janna's not a bag pick here for sure. Especially with the 2 beefy frontliners. Janna's really good with like double tanks because she just like has more utility and tanks have good damage early. And Janna likes to roam early too. Janna pops her heal, so we know heal is gone. I'm gonna come back to wave and also get the cannon minion wave, which is huge because what's even more insane, by the way, just to add a little bit more extra. And this wasn't even intentional, but now that I'm looking at it, I can reference this. If you can push somebody off on the second wave, on the second wave coming in, and then force them to push a cannon wave, because they can't push the cannon, especially in early game. She cannot push this cannon wave fast enough. It's just gonna crash, and she's gonna have to overextend, drop her ward, and have to push another wave. Now, thankfully, she's Tristana for her, so it's not a big deal to push another wave, but, like, she just, like, stacks an entire fatty wave for me, which is really nice. I fucked up that one. I probably should have queued it. And then, potentially, we get a gank off. See, look, she even bases here because she knows she can't do anything for, like, forever. She didn't even get a plate, so she stacked the wave. Not her fault, by the way. I mean, it is her fault because she played so aggressive that it caused this to happen. But it's not like she willfully chose for this to happen. More like a unfortunate accident, but still something to learn from as a mistake for the Tristana. Now, these are all high elo concepts, right? So I'm not saying you should grab all these immediately and put them into your gameplay, but they should be in the back of your mind. Where is my wave state? How is my wave state? Is my wave state going to be good? Where is it going to be? You know, a lot of people think about the wave state like right now, like, oh, this is going to push to me because these minions are lower than that minion, which isn't necessarily true because it's not. But I'm just giving an example. This is the present wave state. You might want to think about 2 waves down the line, 3 waves down the line. Where is my wave state going to be? And where is the jungler going to be in reaction to that? You know? My jungler's topside. I cannot have this freeze right here because I don't know where Maokai is. If I knew where Maokai is, it doesn't matter what the wave state's going to be because I can just ignore, or I can self-identify where the Maokai is going to be. So, like, when you don't know where a teammate or an enemy is, sorry, not a teammate, where an enemy is, like the jungler, then don't go, oh, I'm screwed anyways, just push and just hope to God, pray that nothing happens. Look at your own wave state and try and identify what could happen. When would be the best time for him to gank? Would it be right now? Like, I don't know where Maokai is right now, but I know it'd be a bad time to gank right now. So maybe he's going to be here in when? 30 seconds? When this wave comes and I hard push this wave, is this wave going to reach tower or is it going to stop right here? Thinking about all these things while you're just waiting for these minions is like what makes the difference between a good player and a bad player. Or a good player and a mediocre player. Not a bad player, sorry. A bad player would be doing way more differently things. Actively hurting his wave. A bad player would actively hurt his wave. A decent player will actively manage a wave in a neutral setting. Won't hurt his wave, won't make it better. And a good player will manipulate a wave so that it benefits them only. So I decide to let it bounce, or to let it slow push in, because I see Maokai. At this point, I've identified a problem, and here's my first mistake of the game. Let's just go real quick look back and see what I could have done. Let's see if I fucked with this wave at all. Now that we've said all that. So, this wave is probably going to push to the enemies. Or I'm probably going to stack this wave because of how quickly this minion died. Usually a minion getting focused down that quickly means that you're going to end up getting pushed. Especially based on where the wave is at. Since the wave is closer to me, it means my wave is going to end up hitting these minions first. So you need more strength on the enemy team than your team. And since it's pretty neutral right now, it means that he's going to get a push to him. Which technically means I should hard shove this. But I don't end up doing that and just hold out as long as possible, which is sort of a mistake. I should have grabbed all these minions if I could have, but I ended up grabbing 2, getting a trade for an E because I knew he was just going to do this, and I missed out on 1 minion. I probably could have gotten the extra minion there, but, you know, the deal is not that big. The most important thing is not dying here, especially for low elo players. If you can identify that your wave state is in trouble, that's fine, just as long as you identify you're in trouble and your counter matchup does not get a kill, which is the current situation for me. She's just going to... I didn't take a point in W, which didn't really change anything because Tristana just fucks my W so hard anyways. They might as well take extra damage in the queue. Because I can't do anything. She can just cancel out of my W. So she'll jump in, she'll E, and then I'll put down the W, and she'll auto, and then jump right out, and it doesn't matter. It won't make a difference for me. But I end up getting my W now, I believe. Which is not great level management, because typically if you're not going to take W, you should wait till level 8 or whatever, but that's fine. I end up letting her trade into me so I can stay in range to get this E on the cannon minion, which was probably, in hindsight, a good idea, because I'm going to get the E. I don't get the E damage on her, but I get the cannon minion because the E is not going to change, like 100 damage, 130 damage minus her armor, or her magic, so cut it by 30%, only does 90 damage, or 80 damage. Is not going to change in the grand scheme of things, but me getting that cannon minion was super important for me. He gets the cannon minion as well, and we trade pretty heavily because she jumps into the middle of my wave. I get a nice E, Q on her. She throws her E proc and doesn't get her reset jump, so now she's just basically dead. She flashes, I also have to flash to kill her. I end up flashing, and now I'm just looking to hard shove the wave. I'm looking at Janna. I start to come, and I recognize that I probably won't be able to catch these 2 fools. So I just instead realized, look at my wave, and consider my options. And in this wave state, I decided to hard shove because I thought that these casters were too low and too up front. You know what, actually, this could have pushed to me, but I just decided to push anyways because I'm dumb. That might have been another mistake by me. But you don't necessarily always want it to push to you anyways, so it's kind of like a coin flip in a way in this scenario. And what I do instead is instead of letting it push to me and letting her get an extra plate, I end up deciding to grab the wave and execute myself and let the wave crash the tower and end up getting myself another shove. Because these minions are going to stay here until the wave crashes, and these minions tend to jump to the back line for whatever reason. It just happens. Like this one will just start walking, watch. Or maybe it might... Oh, no. Okay. I was wrong. But anyways, one of those minions was in the tower range, therefore I get an automatic free shove, and she does not get a, like if I held the wave right here, she would just W and come to lane and probably push hard shove into Eing the tower and getting a free plate. But instead I decide to execute because I'm probably going to end up picking the wave up anyways, because this wave will meet before the tower, and she'll get a full wave, and I'll get the cannon instead of her getting a cannon to tower into a free plate, which I felt was the better decision than freezing the wave, which would have been the two options that you had. So I either had the option to freeze right here at the tree, or execute myself and grab the wave and pull it all the way out. And also, just side note, don't be afraid to execute ever. Executing is OP as hell, and you should always abuse it if you can. Unless you're a jungler and you're dying to camps, you're done then. Get called out. Look at that, I come to wave, there's a nice fatty big wave, and it's even better for me because the longer that I don't have to stay in the middle of the lane for myself versus Tristana, the higher chance I have at winning. Because the longer I can hold out and get my items and start poking her out, means the higher chance that I have at winning the game. See, Bard wants to go for a play. I'm always willing to commit for my support. He gets a nice stun on there. I believe I throw an E. I go, it's not worth it. She's got jump. She can jump away. Bard has nothing. He just queued. I'm going to go back to my wave. I lost one minion for it. Still got the XP. Should have called him off. Didn't do that. But he knew I was leaving. Because it wasn't... I'm sure he recognized at the same time it wasn't winnable. But we stopped her back for one melee minion. And then I get an instant free shove. Oh no, I freeze here. Okay, yeah, I freeze here, which is fine because I'm healthy. And then now I have my E and I decide to freeze, or I decide to hard shove. I keep saying the two same words over and over again, like they mean the same thing. So here's my hard shove beginning because I saw Janna leave, and I think I'm strong enough to be able to 1v1 this Tristana. Finally, especially since I'm a level up on her now. From manipulating the waves so many times, but I'm still trying to respect her, staying out of her range, letting her cut up the minions a little bit. Still gonna get some ease on the cannon minions. Never lose the cannons. Always trade for the cannons. She ends up managing the wave, and now we're back to a neutral state. But as you can see, I always stay out of her range. I know this matchup. It's bad. It's not good for me. But we just keep chilling. I'm letting my Bard roam. I'm farming up. I've got good CS. I'm like one of the higher CSs on the whole team. I'm almost beating all three players. She decides to jump in, and I'm gonna full combo her here. Not with my ulti. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna hold that off because Bard. I knew Bard was coming. Bard's gonna get a nice combo. I had my E up again. Bard gets nice ulti. I'm going to throw out my full combo on a Janna. She can't really do anything about it. She's going to stopwatch. And her Heck Room comes, and now I'm 3-1 with neutral CS, and I'm up an entire level. Now I'm up an entire level on the Tristana. And I would say this is how you play a perfect game. I never even watched what my teammates... Well, I did watch what I was... But I'm talking about... Oh my god, I just messed up all my words. I didn't watch what my teammates were doing specifically, but I was looking at them on the map and seeing where they were positioned and applying that to my own lane state. Deciding when to shove and when to push is all important when you see your teammates grouping up. Janna's roamed. If I don't know where Janna is and I see Bard, then I'm going to let Bard 3v2 mid lane if there's an Azir and a Maokai there, back like way back here. But if I see Janna, then I'm willing to push, because you don't want Tristana to get to the tower. Now, if it was a champion like... trying to think of a champion, but I can't really think of one. Maybe... Ezreal, you might want to keep under his own tower, because then he can't, effectively poke at you, and you can poke at him, is what I'd be doing. He's, too busy trying to grab CS, and I will just poke at him. Here, I decide to stay because I'm healthy enough, and I'm only 200 gold off of my Leandri's Mask, and I know my Hecarim is bot side, and I don't know where Maokai is, but that's fine, because I think I can just clear the wave real quick. They get a free plate, I miss a minion, but I still get most of them. And I get a couple E's and trades into Tristana. And I stay because I still don't have enough money. But I'm okay. One more trade. See, look at the difference between Tristana and me now. Before, she was so much more powerful because she could just control whenever I got to do anything. But then, as soon as I get a few items down on my belt, we're like even in CS and I haven't lost, and I get a couple levels, maybe get an augment here. That's what I got. I got one augment, I think. Maybe two, I don't really know. It doesn't show up in the replay. No, I have two now because I just got another one. The lane becomes a lot more manageable if you don't end up feeding in the early game and you worry about your wave state. You control your wave state. That entire, as we go back to the beginning, I'm not gonna watch anymore because it's just more like the game is already over. So I'm gonna go back to this wave state. While it looked a little bit dire because I was getting pushed in, managing to get all the CS while also effectively poking out the Tristana into a second wave recall for them, which means we just hard shove into a third wave cannon wave push back to us. She has to, so we hard shove, they're coming, Tristana's coming back with the cannon wave. I'm basing because I have goodbye 800 gold or something like that. The wave is going to push to us no matter what because the wave grouped up on these triple minions, these triple casters, and now she has to hard push a fucking cannon wave, probably missing a few CS here and there because she's got to go, she's got to burn gas. Look, she even missed a cannon minion, for fuck's sake. She missed a cannon minion in the early game. That's like so important. And then I get an instant freeze to tower into, she pushes the fourth wave. Now she has to base because she knows Bard is here because they just made a play mid and Bard wasn't there. So now I get to pick up all these minions for free, scale into the early to mid game for free basically. The later 8-minute period is just free for me. I'm getting all of the CS. Bard is getting XP, I'm getting XP. It's just gigantic for us. This is what I would say was a perfect game, even though I died once, which was an execute, in order to get a better favorable wave state. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this information, and I hope it helps you climb. Have a good day.